If you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I've had a love-hate relationship with CRO. Today, I want to sit down and really walk you through my mindset, my strategy, and why, despite the ups and downs, I still firmly believe that CRO has the potential to make me a millionaire. And not just maybe, possibly someday, but realistically, if things play out the way I think they will, this is one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities that could surprise a lot of people. Welcome to AI Crypto Pulse, your daily dose of crypto updates, AI-driven insights, and market trends. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest in crypto and blockchain technology. So let's rewind a little bit. When the total supply adjustment happened, I was honestly shocked. The community vote didn't exactly align with what most people wanted, and yet the result pushed forward anyway. For me, that was the first big signal. This was always going to happen, regardless of how the votes fell. And that told me something important. Crypto.com and the team behind CRO had a very clear long-term plan. They weren't just reacting to market sentiment. They were executing a strategy that most of us on the outside only caught glimpses of. At first, it felt like a roller coaster. You know that feeling when you've invested in something, you've done your research, and then suddenly the rules seem to change overnight? That's exactly where I was. But instead of panicking and selling everything, I took a step back and asked myself, why did I buy CRO in the first place? For me, CRO was never just a speculative coin. It was about utility. When I first got into crypto, this was one of the earliest positions I took. And it wasn't just because the price looked good. I believed in what Crypto.com was building. I believed in their vision to create a real usable ecosystem where CRO would be at the center of everything. And let's be honest, very few crypto projects actually deliver on that promise of utility. Many coins exist just to trade, pump, and dump. But CRO? This was different. That's why even after seeing the supply change, after hearing the doubts, after riding through those peaks and valleys, I never completely lost faith. In fact, it pushed me to zoom out even further. Why would I set such a small limit for myself just because the supply increased? Why would I convince myself that becoming a CRO millionaire is impossible when everything about this ecosystem is still growing? Now, here's the part that excites me. CRO has already proven it can grow. If you look back at its historical performance, it's up by over 1,100% since its early days. That's not small. That's a massive move for any asset, let alone one tied to such a recognizable name like Crypto.com. Even in the last year, CRO has climbed over 200%. Sure, day-to-day fluctuations happen. It might be down 1% here or up 2% there, but the bigger picture is undeniable. Think about the numbers. Right now, CRO sits at around an $8.5 billion market cap. That's already significant, but compared to the giants in the space, Ethereum, Bitcoin, even Solana, it's still tiny. And volume, that's another bullish sign. We've seen CRO go from trading $10 or $20 million in volume off of a $2 billion market cap to now consistently pulling in $100 to $200 million off of an $8 billion market cap. That's healthy growth, and it shows people are paying attention. But yes, the elephant in the room is the total supply. Originally, we were looking at 30 billion CRO. Then the decision was made to introduce up to 70 billion more, which brought the circulating supply to around 33 billion today, and potentially more in the future. On the surface, that might look like a deal breaker. More supply usually means more inflation, more dilution, and slower price growth. But here's why I don't see it that way. CRO isn't just floating around waiting for someone to buy it. It's being actively used, integrated, and positioned as the backbone of Crypto.com's entire ecosystem. The supply doesn't just exist for the sake of it. It exists to fuel growth. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone invented a brand new type of currency tomorrow. Let's call it other currency. At launch, this new currency has zero value. But then suddenly, every major business in the world announces that they'll start accepting other currency for transactions. What happens? Even though it started at zero, demand would skyrocket. People would rush to acquire as much as they could because suddenly, this thing that was worthless yesterday is now the key to real-world payments. That's basically what's happening with CRO. Its value is directly tied to what Crypto.com is building and the partnerships they're securing. Every time a new business starts using CRO, every time a new utility is added, the value of holding CRO increases. And that's the key most people miss. Supply doesn't matter nearly as much when demand is rising faster. And let's be clear, demand is rising. Crypto.com is pushing forward with new partnerships, new integrations, and massive marketing campaigns. They've already proven they can go toe-to-toe with the biggest names in the industry. Remember their Super Bowl ad? Remember the arena naming rights? Those weren't just flashy moves. They were long-term brand-building plays that positioned Crypto.com as a household name, and CRO is at the center of it all. Now, I'll be real with you. CRO isn't my only play. I've done well with other projects. XRP, for example, has already taken me to levels I never expected, and I still believe XRP has room to run even higher, potentially making me a multi-millionaire on its own. I'm also holding other strong plays like Solana, ADA, Avalanche, and even Terra Classic. Each of those could generate solid returns on their own. But CRO feels personal. This was one of my first true positions in crypto. This was the project that taught me what utility really looks like in this space. And because of that, I'm not just holding CRO, I'm committed to it long term. I genuinely believe this is the one that can push me over the edge into CRO millionaire status. So where does that leave us right now? It leaves us at a turning point. On one hand, you've got people focusing only on the negatives, the supply increase, the volatility, the uncertainty. On the other hand, you've got a growing list of reasons to stay bullish. Partnerships, adoption, volume growth, and historical performance that already proves CRO can deliver big returns. For me, the positives far outweigh the negatives. And that's why, despite everything, I still stand here today telling you I will be a CRO millionaire. Not just because I want to be, but because all the pieces are falling into place to make it happen. Now, I want to hear from you. Has your mindset around CRO changed recently? Are you more bullish, more cautious, or maybe somewhere in between? Because when I look at the future of Crypto.com, when I see governments exploring crypto adoption, businesses accepting digital payments, treasuries considering blockchain integrations, it's clear to me that CRO isn't just a side player. It's becoming a central piece of the puzzle. And when that happens, those of us who believed early, who held through the ups and downs, will be the ones who truly benefit. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the latest crypto news and insights.